Knicks family, what's popping with you? I'm glad you're back with me. And we're about to check out the New York Knicks versus the Miami Heat. The first round, Game 5 of the 1999 NBA playoffs. And I'm sure you guys remember this game vividly. I know I do. This is one of the most exciting moments as a Knicks fan. You know what I'm saying? I got my man Nate here in the chat, and we're just going to talk about a couple of memories before we get into the game. All right? So if you're new to this chat, you're new to this stream, new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell. You'll be notified whenever I go live, drop a video, or post in my community section, okay? So without further ado, let me get to my man Nate. And if anybody else wants to join the chat, feel free to join into the chat. Talk about your memories with this game. All right? Nate, talk to me, man. What do you remember about this season? Just talk to me about the season.
Well, it was a memorable season because that's when I became a Knicks fan.
Okay.
That was the first time I was really introduced to watching basketball. It's kind of funny growing up in Texas. You think I'd be a Spurs fan, but I actually grew up, watching the finals with the Knicks and the Spurs, and I was a Knicks fan because I was a big Allan Houston fan. I just loved Allan Houston. He was such a fun player to watch, and we had such a good squad at that time.
So then you probably don't remember a whole lot about the actual season itself.
It was a short season,
for the
right?
Knicks.
It was a short season because of the lockout, right?
It was a shortened season because of the lockout. Yeah,
that was the same year that LJ hit the 4-point play, right?
I believe it was. So it was
LJ a pretty crazy season with the lockout, all the miracle plays that we had. Patrick Ewing, that was tough.
Yeah, Patrick Ewing was. This is when Patrick Ewing was on the way out. People, there was just a lot of talk about.
He was declining for sure, no doubt.
He was declining, and there was a lot of talk about, the Knicks being better without Patrick Ewing on the floor and all that kind of stuff. They had Latrell Sprewell, they had Allan Houston, and all of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was just a lot of talk about
Ward,
Patrick Ewing and all of that stuff, man. And of course that hurt my heart. Talk about Patrick Ewing like that, because that's Patrick Ewing.
Yeah.
But the Knicks. I mean, when you look at that season. The Knicks were 27-23 that season. Just scraped into the playoffs. Right? Big Freezer, you there?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Yeah, man. You remember that season? The Knicks, they just scraped into the playoffs.
Man,
that season, right?
We couldn't figure out the Sprewell Houston dynamic, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just took a while for us to figure it out. And then point guard was inconsistent. It was just one of those seasons, man.
They were a gritty team. They weren't nothing flashy. They were a hard-nosed, defensive-minded team that had trouble scoring at times, but they played really good defense. They were fun to watch.
Right.
Yeah, they were. It was weird, but I do remember saying to myself, just. All I wanted them to do was to have to play the Heat in the first round.
Right.
Because I knew, all right, so you go back a while ago when PJ Tucker, it's PJ Tucker, right? Body slammed Charlie Ward. PJ Brown. Body slammed Charlie Ward, right? And they had the whole melee, and everybody came off the bench, and a bunch of Knicks got suspended, and then the Miami Heat beat the Knicks, right?
Right.
Although they really could not beat the Knicks, but they beat the Knicks in that series because of all of these suspensions. But I always knew in my heart, this team could not really beat the Knicks. They just weren't as good as the Knicks. They couldn't beat us. So when in that year, all I wanted, the Knicks weren't playing good. I don't want to say we backed into the playoffs, but we found a way to scrape into the playoffs, and I just wanted us to play the Miami Heat. And we got the Miami Heat in the first round. Right? Well, we were the 8th seed, right?
Yeah.
We were the 8th seed. Miami was the first seed, And I could feel it in my heart that we were ripe for an upset. I could feel it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. You know what the funny thing is, though? The funny thing is that Miami Heat team was built just like the Knicks. Remember the Knicks of years prior? They built, so similar to, I guess Pat Riley laid out the blueprint for both teams. You know what I mean? So, but, watching them, that Heat team put the stranglehold on teams throughout the NBA defensively. But if you could ever get to 90 points, you could beat them.
Yeah, man. Right.
That was the thing. If you could ever get to about 90 points, they couldn't, they just couldn't generate enough offense. And ironically, this team wound up being
looks like he froze up on us. He'll be back. But anyway, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get into the game. Right? Oh, you there, Freezy? I think you froze up.
Yeah,
what was you saying? You said ironically what?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get to the game. You guys stick around because I'm going to come back to you so we can, just talk about the game. For you two, it might be better for you two to look at it on Sportscaster because it's going to be more up to date. All right. On YouTube, It'll be a little bit more of a delay. All right. So it might be a little bit better for you guys to check it out on Sportscaster. For everybody else that's on YouTube, you guys can, stay here chilling on YouTube. And those who are on Sportscaster, stay there chilling on Sportscaster. I'm just telling them guys because the delay is a lot less on Sportscaster. All right. Anyway, we're going to get to this game, ladies and gentlemen. And, geez, do I remember that shot. One of the greatest Knicks moments ever. The New York Knicks versus the Miami Heat, ladies and gentlemen. Game 5 of the 1999 NBA playoffs. First round. Let's get it. There we go.
Welcome back to the Miami Arena for Game 5 between the New York Knicks and the Miami Heat. Starting lineup for the visiting Knicks. Up front, the familiar face of Patrick Ewing with Kurt Thomas and Larry Johnson on the wings. Johnson averaging 12 points a game throughout these playoffs. And in the backcourt, the point guard Charlie Ward. Ward averaging 5 assists per playoff game. And Allan Houston, 16 points a game. Jeff Van Gundy is the New York Knicks coach, the embattled coach, trying to hang on to his job. Some New York reports say if he doesn't advance in the playoffs, he may be gone. The Miami Heat starting 5 looks like this. Up front, P.J. Brown, Alonzo Mourning, MVP candidate, averaging 22 points, 9 rebounds a game. And the struggling Jamal Mashburn, only 2 points in Game 4. Tim Hardaway's been in a big shooting slump, 24% shooting in the playoffs. And Dan Marley, defensive stopper. And Pat Riley, the Miami Heat head coach, the former Knicks coach, who is the all-time leading playoff coach in terms of wins. And before the tip, let's check in with Jim Gray.
He told his team the following. He said, guys, remember Game 5 last year. That's all I've got to tell you. If you remember that pain, remember that hurt, you will not want to repeat what happened in their loss here in Game 5. As for Jeff Van Gundy, he only had 4 words for his team. Just kick their butts. Tom?
All right. Well said.
Simple as that.
Hugh Evans, Jim Clark, Ed F. Rush are the officials for today's Game 5. The winner moves on to face either Atlanta or Detroit. The loser ends the season.
Quick start necessary for Miami. Build up this raucous reception that they got from their fans here.
Alonzo Mourning, guarded early by Kurt Thomas. Fall away. Mourning connects for the first bucket of the game.
We've been here a lot of times, and we have never felt this kind of energy from a Heat crowd, so they're anticipating something very big, and what the Knicks are going to have to do to combat it is have some quick strikes of their own.
Ewing answers Mourning's bucket.
That was an old Ewing, too. I just want to tell Charles Oakley that real quick.
Have pickup games all summer long, of course, on-court NBA rivals as well.
A duplication of the Game 1 in this series where both centers, Mourning and Ewing, went at each other.
P.J. Brown strokes the outside shot for his first bucket. 3 shots taken, 3 shots hit. This is the second possession for the Knicks.
On the shot clock for Kurt Thomas.
Thomas too hard off the glass. Brown with the outlet to Hardaway.
Now, as the Miami come out. I think the secret in this ball game for winning for both teams is going to be cheap buckets. There's not a lot of transition in the Heat game. They have to grind it out. They go through those stretches where those jump shots don't fall.
Thomas gets it to Larry Johnson, guarded by Mourning, and the first foul of the game called.
I'm gonna tell y'all what, I was super excited when the Knicks got LJ, man. You know, they got LJ before this season, but when they got LJ, I was super excited. You know, obviously he wasn't the same LJ. His back was hurt and all of that, but he was still LJ. He could still hoop. He could still do some things.
And open up the middle a little bit.
The foul, by the way, on Jamal Mashburn as Johnson misses the first free throw.
Whether the foul was on Mashburn or not, he put his hand up. They want to make sure Mourning sticks around. Mourning has had a great series. Mashburn has been struggling. Who would you rather see pick up the foul as Johnson gets the second?
Larry Johnson appears to be wearing a special belt on the back of his uniform there, Steve.
What is that, Steve?
Well, that's the athletics reporter, but he wants to keep his shirt in. You know, we got rules around here, and now you got a new dress code. Mourning.
Reach-in foul, Allan Houston.
And there have been a lot of people that think that's a back brace. It isn't. You know, as they swing this ball around, it's moving too freely. That's a concern for Van Gundy. You can't just move ball, move people, and then think you're going to be able to react at the end and make a save. Houston with the foul.
But Steve, one of the nice things about these two teams is that they're not like a lot of the other squads around the league who rely on that automatic, mindless dumbing down of the game where you just come in and double team everybody. They play guys head up, the Knicks and the Heat. That's going to force the stars here to come up with creative offensive games.
And there's Larry Johnson's fashion statement as he retreats down court. Well, Pat Riley, for one, almost always refuses to distort his defense by double teaming. He'd rather play him tough straight up and handling one of the best defensive teams in the league. Shocked by giving up those 90-point games to the Knicks in the playoffs. As Marley knocks it off Houston, it'll be Miami ball.
Dan Marley, a defensive specialist, really has done a fine job all year long, shutting down all the other team's top scorers, keeping Allan Houston away from the hoop. That will be a huge factor this afternoon.
Mashburn's pass to Brown goes awry, and Miami turns it over.
Jamal Mashburn has been playing poorly in this series. Pat Riley, when I asked him about that, he said, look, we just want to get whatever we can out of Jamal Mashburn and try to emphasize the positives. That's kind of what I'm all about today, too.
Shooting 35% of the series is Jamal Mashburn after a disastrous 26% shooting playoff run last year. Thomas turned around way short. Pretty good defense by Mash that time.
You know, Mashburn is an open court player, and he needs opportunities to bring the ball to the rim, shoot it with some freedom, and under a very, very structured offense where a lot of times he will pass up shots he has, he gets himself out of a good offensive rhythm.
He missed those 26 games with that very badly bruised knee he suffered in the opening weekend.
Tim Hardaway. Well, that's probably an encouraging sign for Heat fans because Hardaway, shooting only 24% in this playoff series, hits his first attempt of the game.
Well, let's remember back to the regular season when the Heat got off to a blistering start, had that big lead coming down the stretch, and the Knicks were able to rally. Knicks on one of those very poor starts right now, but they got some history to rely on. Hardaway.
And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this was the thing with this Knicks team right here. They frequently got off to poor starts. You knew that they was going to fight back, and you knew that they could fight back. But they would get off the slow starts, ladies and gentlemen, and it would bother me, and I'd be so upset all the time. You know, and this really started to mark, even though the Knicks went to the championship, and we can talk about this later. You know, I don't want to bring it down. You know what I'm saying? But it kind of started the downfall of the Knicks this season after they went to the championship. But we'll talk about that later on. Right now, we're just going to enjoy the moment as the Knicks are in Miami All right, and right now they're down. They got off to one of their notorious bad starts. Let's rejoin the game in progress, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I never, but then you got to talk about how many times did I make the steal.
I didn't want to say
yeah, I know. You were emphasizing the positive.
Jamal Mashburn missing the free throw. Everything's gone wrong for him here in the playoffs.
And I thought coming into this playoff series that Jamal Mashburn would be a key performer. Sprewell checking into the chorus of boos that accompanying him.
Well, he still is a key player. If they're going to win this game easily, they need that scoring from Mashburn.
And listen, I like Latrell Sprewell. He was all right-handed. He had no left hand, but Sprewell was my guy. No left hand, but he was my dude. As Jamal Mashburn misses another free throw, Sprewell grabs that rebound. And you see Charlie Ward. Listen, Charlie Ward, man. Charlie Ward was he was just your steady point guard. Allan Houston goes to the cup. He's going to shoot too. But Charlie Ward, man, he was just your regular point guard, but he got the job done. Played defense, hard nose. You know what I'm saying? As you see, Allan Houston. Allan Houston never had a whole lot of bounce, but he could do what he had to do when he got to the basket.
Big victory. I can't take it anymore year.
Houston, normally the most reliable of free throw shooters, 86% during the regular season, misses his first free throw attempt.
Yeah, well, you know, he had a gaze about him. You know, he's normally a looser guy before the ball game, but he had that fixed focus. And I think sometimes when that's not your personality, to get all geeked up, you don't play well. And him shooting free throws is a sign that he's too tight.
They let Jamal Mashburn bring the ball up against Sprewell, and now here's Hardaway posting Ward to Brown for the open shot.
Precision offense. Pat Riley has got them attacking. He's got them feeling confident, not worried about mistakes right now.
Houston, crossover dribble, got some space from Marley, and he nails the shot. Allan Houston, one of the sweetest shooters in the NBA.
That was sweet. That was sweet. And Allan Houston had such perfect form, too, man. Such perfect form.
Hardaway for three. Rebounded by Johnson.
Larry Johnson had enough time to get the rebound, turn around, look at Ed Efright, point to him, and then get up the floor, turnover on the block.
Larry's belt may be too tight today.
P.J. Brown with a block. Mashburn, guarded by Houston.
Tough matchup for Houston as Mashburn just breaks him down off the dribble. Nice play.
Brown for the slam. Brown from Mashburn.
Steve, you call it a tough matchup? The way Jamal Mashburn is playing, I wouldn't double team him under any circumstance.
Well, they didn't double team him, but he just is able to get all the way to the hoop to where then he tries to make a play for someone else, and he was successful with Brown.
Hardaway leads the break. Tim Hardaway missed it. Mashburn with the offensive rebound. Goes back up. Can't get the roll.
Poor shot selection, Jamal Mashburn. You're not playing well. Bring it out. Do the little things. Play some defense.
Hardaway thought he had the steal, but the foul called instead. It's called on Jamal Mashburn. Miami with a lead early, 14-6 in Game 5.
And I'm going to jump over here, ladies and gentlemen, to my guys that's here in the chat. And, you know, just talk with them a quick second, right? And then we'll rejoin the game in progress after we talk to them. And I'll get a couple of guys here in the chat. Big Freezy, let me get you unmuted. Big Freezy, can you hear me? You got yourself muted, I think, Freezy. You got yourself muted. There you go.
Offense look like to you?
I mean, you know, go ahead. I'm not sure. What's it look like to you?
So it looks like a version of a 1-4 set, right? But we're so stiff in it, we don't move fluent in it. Basically, Jeff Van Gundy is trying to run a version of this 1-4 play that gets a screen for a non-shooter so that the ball handler can get an ISO. So you see Allan Houston waiting at the top of the key for Sprewell to come around those two screens. But at the same time, Allan Houston just takes his man off the dribble. What it does is put all the eyes on the screener while Allan Houston gets to go ISO from the top of the key. So I think they ran that like 4 times already. The same play.
Yeah. Now, Allan Houston's form was so pretty.
Yes,
Had to be the prettiest in the game, man. One of the prettiest forms ever. It's just perfect, pristine.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
K-Sway, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, sir, man? It's been a while.
Yeah, man. Glad to have you in the chat. Glad to have you here. But hey, I'm going to get back to the game in progress, all right? You guys just stay here. I'm going to come back to you from time to time. All right, I'm going to come back to you from time to time. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Ring that notification bell. You'll be notified whenever I go live, drop a video. You guys know the routine, all right? We're going to get back to this game with about 3 minutes left in the first quarter. All right? Let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen.
His first shot to stop a 7-0 Miami run. Bruised right thigh.
Finally, for somebody besides Ewing. Ewing's 2 for 4. The rest of the team's 2 for 9.
Yeah, but it's too early in the game for the Knicks to give up. This is going to be an up and down change of pace game. Sprewell right at the rim.
And one. Latrell Sprewell.
Must be all the good vibes from Jimi Hendrix. The penetration down the lane, drawing the defense, and Sprewell strong enough to battle through the hard foul. Pat Riley always wants guys to finish it off as the clackers came straight from Steve Jones' hotel room.
3-point play by Sprewell after Porter committed the foul, and New York is closed within 8.
New York is a quick strike team with this unit out on the floor. They get a turnover. Charlie Ward with some quick hands causes a mistake from Tim Hardaway. So all they need to do is just continue to work. There's a ton of time left. Most of the Heat shots come from the perimeter. They're going to reach a stretch in this game where they don't make shots. That's going to allow New York a chance to catch up.
New York has scored 5 straight points in 25 seconds. Ewing had trouble with a pass, and P.J. Brown has it for Miami.
Patrick limping a little bit more than usual, coming out after extending himself, trying to save that ball.
I'd limp after a play like that, too.
I'll be shaking my hand. Oh, ouch. Marley for 3. Out of bounds. Conference. New York ball.
Warning, aggressive on the offensive backboard, couldn't get it done. Jeff Van Gundy's got to find some sort of offensive scheme here that's going to work. Sprewell only the 1 attempt on the broken play. And Charlie Ward has gotten virtually nobody involved.
Patrick Ewing finds an open path to the basket and slams it home. Ewing has 6 points.
Marley went out of the game holding.
And like I said earlier, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks always found a way to climb back. I hated the slow starts, but they would find a way to climb back. You know, that was the inconsistency of this team, though. But they had heart.
John Leonard had a stress fracture in the left leg, had surgery back in February, missed the first 35 games, still has a steel rod implanted. That basket does not count.
Tom, I asked Krishan about that rod. They made an incision at the kneecap area and inserted a rod that is a full 2 feet long. It runs the entire length of his tibia to try to keep the bone from breaking again. A stress fracture suffered at the end of last season, plagued him all summer, undiagnosed until training camp started this year.
Sprewell picks off the Porter pass.
Now that's a play that worked very well for them in the fourth quarter, finding Hardaway when Porter penetrated. No chance of completing that play. Larry Johnson against Mourning.
Spinning and scoring. Big time move by LJ.
4-point game.
9-0 New York run. Getting them right back into it.
How's that not traveling?
I think it was traveling by Hardaway. Right. Lob pass. Mourning. Help defense by Ewing. Rebound New York. Sprewell against Hardaway. Got it.
Sprewell eyeing Hardaway all the way, knowing I can just lift right over him. Got that angle. 2-point game.
Final minute of the first quarter. Brown hasn't missed a shot until that one. Ewing hauls it down. New York a chance to tie. Sprewell. Childs the offensive rebound. He is fouled.
And there goes that guy, Chris Childs, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even want to look at him on the screen, but after all this noise he's talking. That move right there by LJ, LJ mastered that move. And you see Zoe and LJ going up against each other. You know, those two guys had a little rivalry going on. You know, they didn't like each other when they was in Charlotte. That's why LJ had to get out of there. They didn't like each other. And it boiled over to the Knicks. You know, I know you guys remember that fight. You know, them guys used to go at it. And that rivalry between Zoe and LJ, it boiled over to the Knicks.
Out in the open court, he gets to the rim as he did on that drive. When that jump shot is going, which is very streaky, he's very explosive from all over the floor, quickly into the ball game, 5 points in 7 minutes. And
it's always been said he's a great player, but is he a winning player? That's the question.
He certainly has not been. But he certainly teamed up with some winning movements of the electric guitar of Jimi Hendrix, trying to gain himself some much-needed credibility. But I don't know if that's what Jimi Hendrix and Woodstock was all about, Latrell Sprewell.
It's the American dream, that's what Latrell said. First tie since 2-2. We have 30 seconds left in the first.
Hardaway isolated against Child, knowing what the clock is.
Tim Hardaway, he's found his shooting touch. 6 points in the game.
I used to hate Hardaway on that side of the floor, man. Hardaway gets you on that side of the floor. He was going to bring you out. He could post you up like he just did, or he was going to bring you out and hit you with that killer crossover, man. I hated him on that side of the floor. He used to kill us on that side of the floor. I think he hit a game winner on that side of the floor against us, too.
21. He's okay.
Ewing misses. Johnson. Ewing fouled just before the horn. Brown fouled him just before the quarter ended. Ewing will shoot two.
Patrick Ewing, I was out in front of the hotel with him this morning in beautiful Coconut Grove. And as usual on the road, the fans are there, and they're yelling and screaming at Patrick. They're calling him a bum and challenging him. Come on over here and get some of this. Mike Saunders, the great Knicks trainer, Mike Saunders came onto the scene here, and while these guys were taunting Patrick, he went over there and chased them and just drove them out of the parking lot, pushing their car. These young fans were terrified of Mike Saunders.
There's a free plug. It's something free in there somewhere. I just can't figure out what it was. That's the end of the first quarter. It's been teacher versus pupil. Patrick Ewing outscoring his protege 8-6 in the first quarter as New York ends the quarter on a 15-2 run over the last 4 minutes.
And like we said, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks were always a master at coming back. And of course, in the beginning of that first quarter, I can remember it vividly. I was afraid. I thought the Knicks were on the way to getting blown out. Obviously, they made that comeback. They made the comeback. So let's rejoin the game in progress. And I do want to remind you, if you're not a member of this channel, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Ring that notification bell. Got a lot of content like this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get back to the game in progress.
Daily as Bill Walton previews every playoff game. It's all at MSNBCSports.com. How do you have time to do that?
I now have a very nice cellular phone.
Every time I turn on the TV, I hear you, see you.
Your worst nightmare, huh?
Just want to make sure you're budgeting your time. Charlie Ward takes it to the rim. Again, Steve, they are able to get right inside and score the easy one.
Hardaway is down, but not out.
When I talked to Pat Riley about Tim Hardaway's resurrection in Game 4, Pat Riley at the shoot-around before the game went over to Tim, and he said, hey, Tim, you're one of the greatest clutch shooters. Forget about all the negativity that's surrounding us right now. Your whole life, your whole career is in front of you right now. We trust you. You're our guy. You're going to take us where we need to go. So just relax, have fun, and let that offensive game flow freely.
Leonard comes off the screen firing and missing. Rebounded by LJ. quickly in front court for the Knicks.
Well, Camby came in for Ewing. Allan Houston came in for Charlie Ward, who picked up 2 quick fouls. This is very, very small team, but a quick striking team. Johnson against Mourning.
Double by Porter. That left Sprewell open for the 3, but he couldn't hit. Out of bounds to Miami. Ewing gets his first rest of the game, and the Knicks have the lead with 9:57 left till halftime. It's New York 27, Miami 24. A lot of Miami fans giving up the water sports today to be at the arena or to tune in on TV for this decisive 5th game. Patrick Ewing and the hated Knicks against Tim Hardaway and the Miami Heat.
Tom, someone along with Latrell Sprewell in the Knicks uniform took a big spike, jammed him in the top of this building, pulled a lot of that energy out that was there. And this game now has turned into something that the Knicks feel that they can control, particularly with this small team out on the floor. Mashburn back in the game.
Well, what's happened to the Heat offense? It's disappeared.
Quick double team of Mourning. He gets it to Porter.
Yeah, but the reason that it disappeared is everything comes from the perimeter against the clock.
Wild shot by Alonzo Mourning, and not a good possession by Miami. The first 8 minutes, 21-8. The last 6 outscored 19-3.
All when Chris Childs in the lineup, making things happen for other players.
This is a bad matchup for Mourning if Johnson just goes to the rim, turns back the other way.
Rebounded by Vashawn Leonard.
Alonzo Mourning has to be able to just take Larry Johnson to the hoop at will, but they can't even get him the ball.
Camby poked it away. Here's Sprewell to Allan Houston, right by Porter. Couldn't score. Weatherspoon the rebound.
Terrific run out by Alonzo Mourning. Allan Houston, it's 1 for 6 on the afternoon.
Yeah, but Houston can't stop shooting. I mean, he's part of their offensive arsenal, and he's got to put the ball up. In the games that they have won, he's had 20 plus. Weatherspoon blocked by Camby.
Camby rejected the Weatherspoon shot. Here comes Childs. The lob for Camby.
That boy Marcus Camby.
Miami forced to take a serious timeout. And Steve, my question is this horrible Miami offense or great New York defense?
Well, it's a combination of both, but this is a great reaction by Camby because it looked like Weatherspoon was right there to put 2 hands over the top, but he ran right down the middle of the floor. What makes this tough is look at the angle and where his body is in order to locate and throw it down. This is a real athletic play by Camby.
Looked like he was behind.
That man Marcus Camby, man. Marcus Camby is one of the first guys, in my opinion, that kind of revolutionized the center position. Okay? He was not the type of center that was going to post you up back in these days. You know, the Patrick Ewings, David Robertsons, Hakeem Olajuwons, Alonzo Mournings, right? They were going to post you up and score. That's what they did. You see how long Zoe was holding the ball, right? And then he gets inside, scores. This is why Mike D'Antoni didn't like the post up. But Marcus Camby was one of the first centers that didn't post up. He was a rim runner. He was a thin rim runner and could block shots. Right? He was one of the first guys that played that style at the center position. He still didn't really shoot threes. I think later in his career, Marcus Camby started to shoot some threes. Right? But he was, and I remember when he came to the Knicks, I wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know. Because I was used to the Patrick Ewing type of center. You know, but he kind of revolutionized the game, in my opinion. You know, I can't think of a center before him who was his style of center. You know, and if there is, you know, let me know. But I think Marcus Camby was at least one of the first ones to kind of change that center position. You see Clarence Weatherspoon there. You know, I can't believe that Eminem had played for the Knicks too, but I think he did. If I remember correctly, at some point he did. Let me let you get back to the game.
Waited for him to come by, went right to the medium range area and knocked it down.
Childs leaves the game with 3 fouls.
And Charlie Ward comes back and he's got 2.
This has been somewhat the story of this series as New York hits helps Miami with a run in the second and third quarters. They had a 30-2 run in Game 3. And, of course, in Game 4, it was the big fourth quarter by Miami that forced today's game. Houston, offensive foul, hooked Terry Porter. And that hook will cost him personal number 2.
Second personal foul, but you watch that arm come out right there. And again, with Allan Houston, he has to have aggressiveness, but with a certain amount of calm. And right now, he's too excited. He's trying too hard, and he's trying to force the issue.
Pick and roll, Weatherspoon from Hardaway. Tapped no good by Mourning, and a loose ball foul is called. We've got a timeout, 6:54 left till halftime. 31-26 New York.
Back in Miami, the Heat trailing by 5. Men are made in the paint in this league, and Alonzo Mourning has separated himself from the crowd. In the 46 games that he played in the regular season, he completely dominated the opposing starting centers, outscoring them, out-rebounding, out-blocking them. That's why he has been the best center in the league this year, has a real chance to win MVP, and maybe will dislodge Shaq as first-string All-NBA center, Steve.
Well, you better go out there and tell them men are made in the paint and you better get scoring. They have scored 1 field goal in the last 9 minutes. The last field goal this team made in white was the Tim Hardaway bucket with 21 seconds to go in the first quarter. They've been scoring from the free throw line. That means Mourning is either going to have to get to the line a lot or he's going to have to start finding his touch again.
Well, fortunately, Alonzo has become a superb free throw shooter.
He had 6 points the first 8 minutes of the game, and those 2 free throws were his first 2 points in the last 9 minutes. He and Ewing are all even at 8 points apiece. Ewing, and 1. No basket. Foul before the shot.
With every hoop meaning something, the Knick coaching staff dies on this effort right here. The pop, and Ewing is going to go and 1, and they're going to say, no way, no way. He got fouled twice before he got the shot away.
Where is the foul? Alonzo Mourning is standing there, and Ewing is lunging into him, using his shoulder, his head as a battering ram.
There must have been
Come on, Bill Walton. Cool it. Chill out, Bill Walton. Just let it be. You know what I'm saying? That's Pat Ewing.
P.J. Brown back in for Weatherspoon as Ewing misses on the lob.
That's a great play if the guy's got some legs to get up, but Ewing couldn't get there.
Never lob a player who's playing with severe Achilles tendonitis.
Thank you, Doctor.
Seven on the shot clock.
Against Sprewell on the low post, Mashburn fall away.
Monster Mash was nice, man, especially early in his career. Mashburn was a beast. I remember him in Dallas. It was Mashburn, Jimmy Johnson, and somebody else. I can't remember who it was now. Jason Kidd, I think. Yeah, Jason Kidd, Mashburn, and Jimmy Johnson. They were supposed to be a squad. Monster Mash can ball, man. Sprewell misses, can only go right. But anyway, Sprewell, Charlie Ward gets to carry him off, and Allan Houston misses the jump shot. And you see Marcus Camby, I was about to say Charlie Ward, Marcus Camby fighting Alonzo Mourning. A young Marcus Camby fighting Alonzo Mourning for that rebound.
5:33 left till halftime. It's a 1-point New York lead. Miami has only 1 field goal in the quarter, but getting back into it at the free throw line.
Larry Johnson coming in, Allan Houston going out. Houston has only got 1 field goal himself, but the story of this ball game is styles of play. Small team, quick movement, quick scoring for the New York Knicks. If the Miami Heat can pass the ball, pass it quickly, they're going to score over the top of the Knicks defense. Pat Riley talking about resolve and defense.
But see, this game has really come to a grinding halt. Tim Hardaway can't turn it back on.
Missed the 3 after Mourning got the offensive rebound.
Pat Riley talking before the game about how There's really not been any continuous good play throughout the series. It's been played in spurts, 5-10 minutes at a time.
Sprewell, after being banged around like a
Now take a
pinball,
look, ladies and
can't
gentlemen,
handle the
and of
pass.
course this is a
Out of
different day and
bounds.
age,
Turnover.
but you see Marcus Camby and Patrick Ewing on the floor at the same time. You know, you got a rim runner, but you got Patrick Ewing who can at least knock down the mid-range.
Miami on a 7-0 run despite only one field goal in the quarter. Mashburn misses that one. Mourning tried to keep it alive. He and Ward.
They call Alonzo Mourning over the top. Pat Riley's over there saying no way. The bigger Mourning did get to the ball at the same time. You take one more look at this long rebound. It's going to come deep. Ward, Mourning right there. That should be a jump ball.
Jump ball. He's pummeling this little tiny 6-foot guy who's just come out to try to get a nice little rebound at the foul line where he's supposed to. Pummeling for a jump ball.
I thought you always took up for the big man.
No, only when they're right.
Mourning has to sit with 3 fouls. It comes with 4:47 left in the half. Could be a key point of the game. Chris Childs, since he's gone out of the game, New York has had trouble scoring.
They haven't scored, Tom, since he went out. Somebody should be sitting over there charting the progress.
It's a 3-minute stretch. The problem is Childs has 3 fouls.
Well, again, but it's more the style of play. They've got bigger people in there. They're not moving the ball as quickly. They're not attacking in the open court, and they're struggling to score. Miami's now getting a chance to identify where the ball is going and who the score is going to be. Sprewell working on his own against Porter.
Sprewell steps inside and hits. Latrell Sprewell, the good ball fake. 9 points. New York by 2.
Pass behind Weatherspoon by P.J. Brown. Broke the play.
Porter penetrates. Weatherspoon back to Porter for no shot. Now he steps up and delivers. No good. Brown, the offensive board.
Riley wants his team to make the opponent play 24-second defense almost on every good offensive possession. That's what the Miami Heat have been able to do. Steal.
Spoon lost it. Swiped by Charlie Ward.
Every single pass that Miami throws is out of the receiver's triple threat position, so they can never keep anything going. They allow New York's defense to recover.
Larry Johnson got caught in no man's land, and Miami has the ball. Hardaway.
Game is picking up some speed and energy now, I'll tell you that. They playing. They're playing some ball right now.
Flashback to his football days.
He saw the ball, he said, fumble, I got to dive.
And of course, Charlie Ward and P.J. Brown, you know, they have no love lost between the two. I'm saying no love lost between the two. Charlie Ward, man. Charlie Ward was he played ball, man. He was a hustler. He played with a lot of heart. You know what I mean? We'll talk about him a little bit at halftime. Because I like Charlie Ward.
To avoid the pile-ups. I was a terrific linebacker and tight end.
Don Shula would have approved, although thinking of you as a tight end could ruin his day. Miami in this quarter has still only 1 field goal, 1 for 11.
The best thing that they can say is they're in the ball game. I mean, you know, they should be down by double digits. Can't be on the hold.
Dan Marley has returned to the Miami lineup.
Steve, New York's defense is rotating much quicker than Miami is able to move the ball. Miami seems to be stuck in the mud a little bit right now, and Larry Johnson, Marcus Camby, and Sprewell, Charlie Ward are out there really closing out beautifully.
Now, just remember this. In the fourth quarter, where the Knicks got hurt, penetration, diagonal pass. They're prepared for that this afternoon.
And don't forget, coming up next, the second half of our playoff doubleheader, the surprising Sacramento Kings in Salt Lake City to meet the Utah Jazz in another Game 5. John Stockton made it a game 5. His battle with Jason Williams has been something to behold. He hit that clutch shot to prevent Sacramento from closing out Utah in game 4. They'll play a game 5 next here on NBC.
Well, the game 4 finish in that Sacramento-Utah game, that's as good as it gets. I mean, both teams really played well.
How about how great Vlade Divac has been playing? He'll need one more, though.
Sprewell over Marley. Hauled down by Weatherspoon. 4 rebounds for Clarence off the Miami bench. Inside, Mashburn got it. Mashburn from Weatherspoon, and Miami has taken a 2-point lead. Despite struggling with their shooting, the Miami Heat have recaptured the lead. The NBA on NBC. Thank you, Hannah, and Jason Williams making a name for himself.
Ooh, Hardaway's crossover corner. That crossover was nasty. I got to give it to him, man. He had top cross Jason Williams, Tim Hardaway, Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson. Yeah, all them dudes had a crazy crossover. That's without a doubt. They had a crazy crossover. Sprewell.
Talk about the all-time
Knocks down the
crossover.
jump
We should
shot.
talk about Bob Cousy, Jerry West, Walt Frazier, Earl Monroe, and Pete Maravich.
They were on the list. We're talking Allen Iverson.
Those guys are trying to
Kobe
get to
Bryant.
Well, having been dazzled by Allen Iverson yesterday, he's coming on, I'll tell you that.
10 on the shot clock for Mashburn.
Ewing grabs it for New York. Tie game. Sprewell's been hot.
Well, you know, the difference in this ball game, again, has been the ability of New York to strike quickly. Whenever they've been forced to set up, they struggled. Johnson inside. They've got a big advantage in points in the paint. That hoop, they're 22-8, advantage New York inside.
Miami's guards are not denying penetration to Charlie Ward or Chris Childs, who's on the bench with 3 fouls. That's a big problem.
Ward penetrated that time to make it happen. Offensive rebound, Mashburn back up. Couldn't get the roll, but a loose ball foul is called on New York.
Jamal Mashburn playing like Moses Malone, knowing as soon as he shoots the ball that it's not going in, so he's just pouncing right back up there, trying to get not only a stick back, but an offensive rebound as well.
Why don't you kick a guy when he's down?
Because he's from Kentucky like you and Pat Riley are, Tom. We're just reporting the facts.
I got
here.
you. Mashburn sinks the free throw. Foul trouble for Alonzo Mourning of Miami, and for New York, both their point guards, Chris Childs and now Charlie Ward, have 3 personal fouls. So Jeff Van Gundy goes to his bench and brings in Rick Brunson.
Now, you know, the funny thing about Rick Brunson, he is a player that plays better when he doesn't have to think about
Rick Brunson. Do I remember that dude? Where is Rick Brunson now? I seen Rick. Is he a coach? Seen Rick Brunson somewhere. I don't remember.
Elimination game.
No, because they're going to have to play half court. If you let this guy get in a free-flowing game, he'll be okay. But if he has to set up, he's going to be a nervous player.
Well, he handled the ball and got nothing done in that series. Dribbled about 10 seconds off the clock.
6 on the clock.
2 to shoot. 1 to shoot. Johnson at the buzzer. Rebounded by Mashburn.
Beautiful tip by Dan Marley. He's open on the weak side, too. Marley.
There's a nice crossover.
P.J. Brown. P.J. is having a good shooting day. He has double figures, 10 points on 4 of 5 shooting. And in the final 35 seconds, Miami leads by 2.
The quick pass by Marley made it all happen. Mashburn pushing him in the back.
Or Hardaway with a reach in. Let's see. Hardaway raises his hand. Hardaway. It is number 1 on Tim Hardaway.
Well, they had one to give as they pushed this ball quickly to Latrell Sprewell, and Hardaway trying to give some help, reaches back. Brunson out, Charlie Ward back in for the what should be the Knicks' final possession. Is a 5-second differential between game and clock. Keith Askins in, Brown out, Mashburn.
Dwayne Caldwell's in.
Right. This is the Pat Riley, let's get out of here without any more fouls to our important players lineup.
Ward Leonard looks over the offensive set. Coswell is checking Ewing. Askins is on Sprewell.
Van Gundy said it's time to go, so quickly at 8 on the shot clock, they got to get a ball in the air.
4 to shoot. Ward for 3, can't hit. Rebounded by Marley. Here's Hardaway. 2 seconds left. Hardaway got it up.
And of course, Tim Hardaway was going to do that against the New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. You know he was going to do that. You see, 1.5, 1 second left. It's in the air. Looked like he was going to try to grab a foul. The way, stuck his backside out there. But Tim Hardaway knocks that one down at the half. To end the half on a 6-0 run for the Miami Heat. And the Miami Heat, ladies and gentlemen, are up 41-37 at the half. And think about that score. 41-37 at halftime. All right, 41-37 at halftime. And in today's NBA, people would go crazy if the score was 41-37 at halftime. You know what I'm saying? People would lose their stuff. But let me get to my man Freezy and K-Sway. Fellas,
correctly. I talked to Sim about this earlier in the year, and I was like,
Sim,
as a guard, I've been a guard my whole life.
And Freezy, what's going on, man?
You don't give a 7-footer the ball below.
I'm not sure these guys can hear me. They're having a conversation.
Right.
Hey, Freezy, can you hear me? Big Freezy, can you hear me? I'm not sure Big Freezy can hear me. Look like they're having a conversation, so I guess I'll come back to these guys after the game.
Hey, Sam, we can hear you. Sam.
Okay, there you go. All right.
Hey, my bad, Sway. Sam was talking to us, man. We can hear you, dog.
Okay. All right. Good. I know you guys was having a good conversation there. All right. So the Knicks are down 41-37. What was your thoughts at this point, man? The game was intense, playing hard defense all over the floor. I was talking about Marcus Camby a little bit, right? When Marcus Camby first came to the Knicks, what was your thoughts about him? Right? Because when he first came to the Knicks, I was just wondering to myself, like, I'm used to the type of center that Patrick Ewing is.
Exactly.
Right? And then here comes Marcus Camby. He's a rim runner. And at that time, you didn't really know too much what a rim runner was in the NBA because you're used to the Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Alonzo Mourning, Hakeem Olajuwon, those type of centers. But he kind of changed the game, I feel like.
Yeah,
he was one of the first guys that was a Mitchell Robinson type of center in the NBA.
Right.
You know what I mean? He was one of those first guys that was that. There was a lot of questions about it, but now that's the kind of center most teams have.
Exactly.
Right.
It's the kind of
right. So the thing about Camby is man, you saw him leave the paint and go block shots on the perimeter, and you were like, wow, is this what we've been missing?
Yeah.
Right.
And also the other thing too is you saw like Sprewell and Houston and Charlie Ward out on the break, running as fast as they can, and then you see this big dude come from out of nowhere catching lobs.
Yeah, man.
And you're like, man, is this what we've been missing all this time?
Yeah, man.
And now the thing about the flip side is you could probably pound that ball inside on Camby, and in the golden age of centers could eat on Camby on the inside. He wasn't gonna block his shot man up, but if he was a great weak side shot blocker. Like if you gave him room to go react to it, he could go get it, man.
Yeah.
I was excited to see the athleticism, him and Sprewell and Charlie Ward together.
Man, that bench, and someone said it in the chat, that bench was killer. It was a killer bench with Sprewell coming off the bench. You had Marcus Camby coming off the bench. Man, them guys they played fast. You know what I'm saying? They got up and down the floor. Them guys were tough to deal with.
But the only drawback though was when Jeff Van Gundy saw it, he got nervous and would like snatch these dudes out the game.
Yeah.
Right. He get nervous because he wanted that slow it down. Let's get in the half court. Let's pound it down low. Because when you play up tempo, like Jeff Van Gundy was already a nervous wreck, right? So just imagine when you're playing a fast paced up and down game. There's going to be turnovers when you play that style of basketball, right? And he was already a nervous wreck. Yeah. So.
Yeah, man. And some people forget how good of an athlete Charlie Ward was.
Yeah, man.
Charlie Ward used to play quarterback at Florida State, throwing touchdowns to Tom Vanover and Kevin Knox.
Yeah, people try to front on Charlie Ward. No, he wasn't a superstar point guard, but he got the job done. He got the ball where it needed to be, and he played defense, and he was tough.
And he was tough, man.
He commanded the floor, too, man. He really did command. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I was telling Freezy earlier that I love the lineup with Marcus Camby, Kurt Thomas, Allan Houston, Sprewell, and Charlie Ward, man. That lineup, especially with Chris Childs coming off the bench, man, it was crazy, man. I loved it. You would see Marcus Camby block a shot, and then you see the whole team running up the floor.
Sprinting.
Yeah. Right. Like Ishmael saying, Sprewell, Childs, Camby. Right. Marcus Camby block a shot, Sprewell and Childs out on the break, gone. And Marcus Camby was still fast enough to catch those guys so they can kick it back to him. Bomb. Yeah, that was fun. That was definitely fun, man. Well, I'm gonna get back into the game. All right. Get it, somewhat into this third quarter and get back into the game. And then I'll catch you guys at after the game.
Okay.
All right, man. Catch you guys after the game. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna get back to the game. We're gonna join it in the third quarter. All right, let's get with it.
Goes with the penetration and a foul inside on Mashburn to push to Kurt Thomas.
Yeah, Kurt Thomas was right underneath the bucket. Mashburn couldn't do anything, had to foul him. But the New York Knicks are riding Patrick Ewing right now. He's the one that's keeping them in the ball game. They need to get back and get more involvement from the other people.
Hey, Oakley, did you hear that? Watch this game, Oakley. The New York Knicks were riding Patrick Ewing. Riding Patrick Ewing, Oakley.
One of the problems that the Knicks are facing is they're losing control of this game, that they're not getting to the free throw line. They've only taken 2 free throws since the first quarter.
Charlie Ward to Thomas, blocked by Mourning.
Led the NBA in block shots this year, first time in his career.
Averaging over 3.5, made the first team all-defensive team in the NBA.
The penetration down the lane, freezing everyone, and then the pass off, that allows Alonzo Mourning to regroup. You see the way he had his crouch held throughout, and then a pounce right when that ball was dished off as Latrell Sprewell checks in.
Second foul on Ewing, and Miami has had the hot hand, 6 of 7 in the quarter, but Mashburn, who had hit the 2 3-pointers, has to go out with 4 fouls to see who takes up the offensive slack. Brown. Rebounded by Sprewell.
Sprewell and the Knicks are better when they're in transition and they're quick striking in the open court. The longer they hold the ball, the tougher it gets for them. Sprewell with the miss.
Brown with a rebound. He has 9 boards.
Patrick Ewing cannot run. Look for Alonzo Mourning and P.J. Brown to push the pace and try to get some transition opportunities.
Now the coach can see he can't run. That's why he got Marcus Camby up there.
Marley for 3. On the floor to Terry Porter.
Mourning asking for the ball against Larry Johnson down in the low post. They won't give it to him.
He should just come out and take it from him.
And it wind up turning it over as the Porter pass sails by Hardaway.
Ewing has to go to the bench here.
Pat Riley saying, come on, let's get it down to our inside guys, and Ewing does sit.
Mike Saunders in the white shirt over there taking care of
him. And I hate that picture of Patrick Ewing in pain, man. I hate that picture of Ewing in pain. But these guys play hard, ladies and gentlemen. You see them playing crazy hard defense on both sides of the floor.
They had 6 turnovers in their Game 4 win Friday night.
LJ with a beautiful shot. And without Ewing in the game, you need LJ to give you some kind of inside presence.
Mourning, off-balance shot. It'll be Miami's ball. I think it hit Larry Johnson while he was out of bounds.
It did, but Larry Johnson right now has Mourning a little bit out of control. And, you know, he really wants this ball, and he wants to score this time. He just ducks his head, doesn't even see where he is, and he's going to come hard right, no place to go. They're lucky to get the ball back.
10 on the shot clock.
Mourning is fouled. Can be assessed the personal foul, number 3.
Tom, one of the things Alonzo Mourning really has to learn how to do is get into a fluid rhythm on his hook shot, the way, obviously, the master Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did. The other top low-post scoring centers have their rhythmic plays. Fluidity, I think, is the real challenge for Alonzo Mourning as he tries to go another step higher after he reached the MVP level this year.
The guy is a jump shooter. Forget about his hook shot. The guy is a jump shooter. This is just a bailout opportunity for him. Most of his scoring is going to come when he's facing the basket, driving the ball, playing over the top, or jump shooting.
He got too extended that time. He's going to have to learn and practice relentlessly with guys pushing and grabbing and holding him to roll that hook very smoothly.
Bottom line, it was an ugly shot. Patrick Ewing can only watch as the Knicks fall behind again by 7. Camby, the nice ball fake, and hit the shot. Tough move by Marcus Camby. Ball fake of Mourning.
You heard him, tough move. That was a tough move by Camby. And if we can get Mitchell Robinson to do some of that, just a little bit of that, just a little bit.
Camby to get an easy bucket.
Porter for 3. Back tip by Brown and saved by Hardaway. Mourning. Tapped by Brown. And Sprewell comes away with it. Let's go to Jim Gray.
Thanks, Tom. Patrick Ewing is on the bench. He is available to return. He's just getting some rest right now. Foul on the play, no basket. He's got some ice on his right side, but keep this in mind, Tom. In the first quarter of this series, all 5 games, he is 11 of 21. In the fourth quarter of the first 4 games, he's 1 of 2, so he hasn't been very effective, and they haven't gone to him much anyway. Tom?
All right, Jim, thank you very much. And, of course, the clock is ticking on Patrick Ewing's long and illustrious career.
And the problem is Larry Johnson can't connect, but Camby keeps it alive and will earn a possession here. The problem for Ewing is that the longer he plays, the worse that Achilles burns. High above the rim, Camby, P.J. Brown unable to put a body on him or anticipate where that ball is going.
You know, you look at Ewing and he's all wrapped up in ice, but the Knicks have been able to stay close. They're only down 5 with Sprewell, Houston, Ward out on the floor. This is their best quick striker unit. They've got to get back to that game. Larry Johnson.
He got it.
Steve, you pointed out that this unit has been playing the best for Van Gundy. Quickness, and Larry Johnson has been able to effectively keep Alonzo Mourning from dominating the pivot.
They got the Heat shooting over the top of the defense. They just need to do a better job of rebounding as they tackle P.J. Brown. It's going to be a foul, Larry Johnson.
I think it was a clip. 2:31 left in the third. Heat by 3.
The controversy still rages around the country whether the New York Knicks are better with Patrick Ewing in the lineup or better off without him, particularly when he's injured. But here in this decisive Game 5, they need Patrick Ewing's ability to score inside, and he was able to deliver at the top of the third quarter to keep them close. This is only a 3-point ball game, and Ewing has had an impact on this one.
Now 36 years old, he's the only Knick remaining from that 94 Game 7 final game against the Houston Rockets.
And I look at the shot chart for Patrick Ewing. 14 shot attempts, which is a heroic, courageous performance. Not how many shots you make, it's how many you take, and he's got 14 up there.
You and Allen Iverson will get along real well.
No, he makes too many.
P.J. Brown connects at the free throw line, and it's 60-55 Miami.
Well, another guy they got to find a way to get in the game, and he's been virtually solid, has been Allan Houston. He's going to have to work as Sprewell goes down low against Porter.
Latrell Sprewell has tossed in 13 today.
Just an indication of how good a player Latrell Sprewell is when he's on. Terry Porter is at the top of the list of defensive guards, and he can stick anybody. And that was just a jumper square in his face.
Miami's P.J. Brown has a double-double, 16 points and 10 rebounds. 3 to shoot. 2 to shoot. Got it away. No good by Marley from three-point range. Larry Johnson has it for New York.
Marcus Camby, who's a much better offensive rebounder than defensive one, has to step up defensively in the absence of Ewing.
Allan Houston for 3. Well, they rotated away from Houston with a double team. He's had a poor shooting game, but he returns to form on that one.
And just that quickly, the ball game is tied, and this is perhaps the way it's going to go, but Van Gundy has a big decision to make. How to keep that small lineup out on the floor to make the Heat have a tougher time in scoring.
First close game of the series.
Allan Houston now 2 of 8 for 6 points.
3 on the shot clock.
Marty with a wild shot, rebounded by Camby, and New York with a minute left in the quarter has a chance to take the lead.
Van Gundy is urging him, run, push the ball, go, blow it up quick. Ward for 3.
Camby kept it alive for a moment, then Porter grabs it for Miami. 45 seconds left in the period.
You know, the nature of a big game is to be more conservative, and I think if you're going to win the game, you have to be more aggressive. Porter knocks Ward down, doesn't get a call against him. 9 on the clock. Ward.
Larry Johnson's defense on Alonzo Mourning, that time stepping out, forcing it all, has been a huge factor today. Larry's been matched up a lot in the second half with Alonzo Mourning. Alonzo started the game great. 2 for 3 the first 8 minutes. Since then, he's been 1 for 7, Alonzo, over the last 28 minutes, although he has hit 8 of 9 free throws this afternoon.
Tim Hardaway's out of the ball game. Deshaun Leonard's in. The Knicks holding for what they think will be their final shot of the third quarter. About a 5-second differential between game and clock.
Sprewell. Weatherspoon has it for Miami. 3 seconds. Porter gets the shot away. Just rims out as the quarter ends. New York ends the quarter on an 11-4 run since Patrick Ewing was forced to the bench with injury.
And ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't get much tighter. 60-60 at the end of the third quarter. With Ewing on the bench, the Knicks make a run and they bring it back. And now we get to this iconic fourth quarter, ladies and gentlemen. An iconic fourth quarter. Let's go ahead and let's get to it. You see the game, Houston, Sprewell, Camby, Ewing. Let's get with it, ladies and gentlemen.
New York wins. It'll be the first 8 to have beaten a 1 since 1994 when that Dan Issel coached Denver Nuggets team and Dikembe Mutombo beat George Karl's Seattle Sonics. And remember, the New York Knicks have never lost Game 5 of a 5-game series. Alonzo Mourning with the first bucket of the third quarter.
Steve, he obviously went between quarters and worked on developing that roll to the hook shot. But the physical play, both these teams know the refs aren't going to call anything down the stretch. The refs have established that we're not going to allow any extracurricular activity, but Alonzo Mourning, there's not a leak in the roof, is there?
Marcus Camby picked up his 4th foul in that play, and as you no doubt noticed, Patrick Ewing has returned to the game.
if they can keep Alonzo Mourning off the free throw line this afternoon, they keep him under control. He gets the three-point play to start the fourth quarter off. You know, and to put it in your terms, Bill, this is the way that you want a game to finish. Tied up, 12 minutes to play, everything on the line, and we'll find out whether the men are made in the paint or they're made someplace else.
Rashawn Leonard with a foul. Chris Childs is back in the game. Remember, the Knicks got a huge lift from him in the first half. Sprewell drives by Porter and finds Ewing.
Unless you're going to keep Latrell Sprewell under control, those kind of shots will be wide open for Patrick Ewing, Allan Houston, Larry Johnson, whoever.
Ewing now with 18 points. Mourning facing up on his Georgetown rival, and nearly a pickoff by Childs. Marley for three with one on. A dagger by Dan Marley. One to shoot. He nails a three, his first basket of the game.
If you're Jeff Van Gundy, that hurts you all your way down to your toes. You did a great job of getting them scrambling, and then Marley recognizing the clock. Listen to this crowd.
Two to shoot. Houston.
Marcus Camby all over the offensive glass, but Dan Marley recognizing that the shot clock was not reset when the Knicks had momentary possession, had to let it fly.
And that shot was considered deep back then. In today's NBA, that's normal. That was considered from the parking lot back then. Today's NBA, that's normal. Now they're shooting from damn near half court.
Marley, same spot, different result. Childs lost it out of bounds.
Ishmael, definitely, man. Ewing was a warrior. Right now, he's playing on a hurt Achilles, right? He's got a sore Achilles. We know what's going to happen in the future against Indiana, but yeah, he's playing on a sore Achilles right now.
Well, the thing is, they think it's a separation right now. If they can make a couple of hoops, they can win the ball game. Leonard for three.
And you can imagine, ladies and gentlemen, the fear that was running through my blood at this time. The fear that was running through my blood as it felt like, man, these guys starting to get hot. They're starting to really play ball. The Knicks are down 7 points, 69-62. Still a lot of time, but you start getting scared. You start to get scared.
Alonzo Mourning ready to play. 17 points for the Miami Heat. Tim Hardaway penetrating and dishing. Patrick Ewing, though, keeping the New York Knicks in the game. Ewing, despite multiple injuries, has scored 18 points. But here in the fourth quarter, Miami has outscored New York 9-2. Dan Marley hitting a key three up against the shot clock. And with 9:56 remaining in this decisive game, the Miami Heat lead by 7.
What the New York Knicks have to remember is this has been a game of streak. This is only a 7-point lead. There's almost 10 minutes left to play. Don't panic.
Allan Houston. Allan Houston's had a tough day, only his 8 points. He's not shot well.
The Miami Heat defense has forced the New York Knicks to the right side of the floor. Everything successful for Sprewell and Houston has been here on the left side.
Weatherspoon with a screen. Leonard gets it right back to him. And he's fouled by Larry Johnson.
Larry Johnson puts his hands up. Alonzo Mourning has his up for 2 shots. And Weatherspoon's going to go to the line. The Knicks defense gets in trouble whenever they're forced to rotate and scramble around Patrick Ewing. And that's what happens. Larry Johnson ends up picking up a foul. That is 4 on Johnson, who's done a terrific job against Alonzo Mourning.
And another game 5 coming your way tonight on TNT. It'll be the 5th and deciding game, the Detroit Pistons and the Atlanta Hawks. That's tonight starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on TNT. That winner will face the winner of this game.
And Tom, how lucky is Jim Gray? Jim Gray gets to work this game and then fly home and go as a fan to that fine game.
I'm surprised you're not broadcasting. One of the few this week.
Sprewell against Porter.
Sprewell draws the foul.
Again, the left side of the offensive attack here for New York is destroying Miami's defense. With the guards out in front, Hardaway, Leonard, Porter, Marley will force the action over to the right side. They can take away a major part of Alonzo Mourning.
That's his 4th foul.
Now, Pat Riley knows he cannot see Mourning pick up a 5th here very quickly. And if you're the New York Knicks, you got to attack him. You got to put some pressure on Mourning and the officials. Crowd going crazy.
Remember, the New York Knicks scored only 10 points in their Game 4 collapse on Friday night. They trail here by 4. Away from the ball, Larry Johnson with a hold of Alonzo Mourning, and on LJ, that's number 5.
That was not the voice of Grandmama.
Now, Van Gundy has to come with Kurt Thomas here, but the holding, the grabbing. And Alonzo Mourning does a very good job of flailing the arms there to draw the attention of the referee. If he had just kept his arms down and remained locked up with LJ, I don't think any call would have been made.
Yeah, that takes an advantage away from them attacking Mourning at the other end.
Kurt Thomas replaces Larry Johnson. Leonard for 3. Leonard had hit 9 of 13 from three-point range, now 9 of 14 in this series. Pat Riley said, maybe I made a mistake not playing him more and playing him sooner. And he had a key 3 a moment ago.
But Pat Riley always goes with a very short rotation in his biggest event. Never been a guy who wants to give his starters much rest when the games are on the line. Vashawn Leonard having to earn his way back after the very serious leg injury with the rod in his leg now.
What they're doing is giving Sprewell the ball and trying to make him find the right play. Ewing.
Up and under Patrick Ewing and 1.
That man right there. Injuries. Busted up Achilles. Still going at it.
A nice pump fake. He'll have a chance for a 3-point play to make it a 1-point game.
So the lead stays at 2, 69-67 Miami. Hardaway gets a screen, Brown wide open. He doesn't see him. Marley for 3. Brown saves it inbounds. Hardaway right back to Brown.
Now Vashawn Leonard's got the ball. He's not a playmaker. He's a scorer and a shooter.
They're trying to find Mourning. 8 on the clock. He takes a look at it.
Over Kurt Thomas, way short. Never rose above the level of the rim, and Sprewell takes it to the other end.
Well, Thomas bumped him at just the right time, took his rhythm right away from him.
Sprewell, Hardaway started to double team. Turnaround by Sprewell. Hardaway takes the carom.
That ball was blocked, I believe, by Vashawn Leonard. Surprisingly good defensive play.
And neither one of these teams are getting anything inside Hardaway.
Hardaway misses the 3. Miami in the quarter is 2 of 6 from three-point range. Only 1 of 2. Only 2 shots inside the arc.
The big fella's crawling up and down the floor. Ewing just got back, and Allan Houston going one-on-one against Dan Marley.
Jump stop, shot blocked by Mourning, but right to Sprewell. He misses. Ewing wide open for the rebound.
Bring it out. Bring it out and reset.
Ewing will shoot instead and miss. Nothing but white shirts for the rebound that time.
This game is going to come down to fatigue, foul trouble, foul shooting. When you get a chance like that, bring it out and make the other team play defense.
Brown.
See, there are too many perimeter shots right now. Both teams are settling for the outside shot, and they need to get something where somebody's quick, cutting to the basket, some sort of give and go, break down the defense. The defense can see it when it's coming from the outside. Houston holding the ball.
Got away from Marley and hit. Pretty move by Allan Houston to tie the game at 69. Timeout.
And Houston was struggling during this game. I mean, you know, you got tough defense, and they knew, the Miami Heat knew that Allan Houston was the next guy that was going to get buckets for the Knicks behind Patrick Ewing. So he was struggling during this game. He was struggling. I was a little bit frustrated, but he was struggling, man. You know what I'm saying? But he pulls it through, you know.
During that last timeout, Pat Riley told his team, hey guys, settle down, settle down, settle down. Then he looked at the ball and he said, will you guys run with the ball at every opportunity? The Knicks have one guy out there, Patrick Ewing, who can't even get up and down the court. Tom?
All right, Jim. Pat Riley beginning this season by putting that poster of a championship ring in every player's locker as a motivational device to remind them of what was possible. Porter's shot stymied by Kurt Thomas, and New York will have the ball. You know, Leonard hit a three.
I remember hearing about that, too. I remember, you know, the whole story about them putting the championship ring poster in the locker room. I was offended, too.
Everything they can handle today. Patrick Ewing on him. Lonzo Mourning. Fall-away shot and a tough one. Marley has it for Miami.
That time Miami able to keep them on the right side of the court.
Porter tried to draw contact. No whistle. Then he dives to save it. Mashburn back in the game, and they'll settle it down. Now to Mourning.
Sprewell and Hardaway didn't want to dive.
Alonzo Mourning.
That is their first hoop since the Vashawn Leonard three-point field goal at about the 9-minute mark. They've had another one of those droughts. Mourning bails them out. 2-point game.
5.5 minutes they went without a score. The 4 to shoot. Childs hits a three. Chris Childs has given New York a 1-point lead. Their first lead since it was 37-35 late in the second quarter.
How will the Heat handle this adversity? Childs wasn't even supposed to play today with that serious thigh contusion.
Yeah, they're going to look for Alonzo Mourning to try to make things happen, but they've been working a lot against the clock of the defense. Mashburn on the drive. They get a call against Thomas.
Kurt Thomas guilty of the foul. Well, Jamal Mashburn took it to the rim. You know, the new arena opens up for Miami next year. If this is the last playoff game in this arena, it's a whale of a contest.
Thomas unable to move his feet quick enough to stay with the shorter, more agile Jamal Mashburn.
Mashburn, his first free throw could tie it. Tonight on Dateline, Flojo sprinted to Olympic gold. Her sudden death shocked us all. What really killed Florence Griffith Joyner. And Jim Gray was telling me today he did the interview, the piece, and he cried all the way through it. He said it's one of the saddest interviews he's ever done. Jim Gray on Dateline tonight. And following that, the movie event, Atomic Train. Dateline and Atomic Train tonight on NBC. After 2 Game 5s. 3:42 left in this decisive Game 5, and Miami leads New York by 1.
Now the game plan for the Knicks, whenever they had to set up, was to go through Sprewell on the wing. They isolate him and then try to make it happen.
Sprewell.
Terry Porter is doing one solid job.
Marley steps in to pick off the pass from Childs. New York's first turnover in 24 minutes.
Just over 3 minutes remaining. Hardaway to Mourning. Driving on Ewing, finding Mashburn. Rebounded by Childs.
When Alonzo Mourning penetrates, he shouldn't be looking for Jamal Mashburn. He should be trying to find Marley, Porter, or Hardaway.
Houston lost it.
See, and Riley's telling his team to run, and that's what they should do to try to bust it open, but Hardaway throws it right to Larry Johnson. And the Knicks ought to come back with a quick effort themselves. They slow down, let the Heat defense set up. When they've been able to set up, they've been able to shut down the New York Knicks.
Larry Johnson, guarded by Mashburn.
8 on the clock.
Spinning baseline, up and in. And Miami takes a timeout. Larry Johnson's bucket has given New York a 1-point lead.
No way that Jamal Mashburn has the strength to play with Larry Johnson. Alonzo Mourning a little late coming over on the rotation, and the Knicks bench celebrates.
74-73 New York. You're watching the NBA on NBC. It's the decisive Game 5 in Miami. The New York Knicks and the Miami Heat. The winner advances in the playoffs. New York leads by 1, 74-73. The only time a number 8 team beat a number 1 team in the playoffs came 5 years ago in the Western Conference when the Denver Nuggets, coached by Dan Issel, came back from a 2-0 deficit, winning the 5th game in Seattle to beat the Sonics, much to the delight of Nuggets center Dikembe Mutombo, a picture that we'll never forget. And now New York bidding to become only the 2nd team in NBA history to knock off a 1, and they have never lost in a decisive Game 5.
2 minutes to go, plenty of time. Riley's trying to get something going to the hoop. They know the penalty situation is going to be coming up. Mourning against Ewing, 7 on the shot clock.
Alonzo Mourning, the jump hook rattles down. Alonzo Mourning has 21 points. Miami goes up 1.
And that was just their 2nd field goal in the last 7.5 minutes. Huge drought in each half for Miami have allowed New York a chance to win this game.
Ward misses the 3. There have been 4 lead changes in under 2 minutes. And right now Miami has the ball up 1.
They're coming right back to Mourning.
Yeah, they're going to milk the clock. It's at 10, and then they're going to come again. Mourning against Ewing. Mourning trying to use his quickness. 5 on the clock.
Mourning forced almost out of bounds and a shot clock violation. Mourning waited too long, and when he made his move, Patrick Ewing was right with him.
Patrick Ewing used the baseline as an extra defender as he pinned Alonzo Mourning. This is what this series is coming down to. The 2 great franchise centers head-to-head all the way to the finish.
It'll be New York's basketball when we return to Game 5. Heat by 1.
During the break, they play nothing but inspirational messages, and you can see why. Tim Hardaway apparently fatigued and out of gas. He has been a struggle for him. Had a terrific start. Has not scored here in the second half, and what they want is one more time. Dig deep. Let's see if we can get one more stop.
Dig deep is right, ladies and gentlemen. In a game like this, you got to dig deep, and it's not easy.
Just on sure willpower here.
Miami leads by 1. New York has the ball, ticking down for the 1-minute mark. Patrick Ewing against Alonzo Mourning. Fakes, fires, no good. Rebounded by Terry Porter, who is immediately hammered by Charlie Ward.
Tom, down the stretch, the little plays for Miami have come from Terry Porter and Dan Marley. Steals, great defense, diving for balls. The teacher-pupil relationship on full display, the little hitch that only the real great ones have ever mastered. Patrick Ewing, though, a season of frustration on the brink here of elimination, can't get one to fall. Ewing has 20 points, but he's 0 for 3 over the last 7 minutes.
Throughout his career, Porter has eaten these situations alive. He's been a terrific clutch free thrower. Let's see how he approaches these 2 that would give them a 3-point advantage.
Terry Porter. Man, there were some warriors back in these days. And Terry Porter at this point in his career, you know, on the way out. But he was a warrior too, man. It's a lot of warriors back in the day. A lot of them.
The Utah Jazz hosting the Sacramento Kings. That's Game 5 of that series coming up next.
Steve, you know better than anybody that this is the moment that Terry Porter lived for. This is a guy who's put his body on the line. He's got all the scars to prove it. Now he's got a little bit of ice cream here at the foul line.
Terry Porter with 2 clutch free throws. What an offseason acquisition by Pat Riley. Some criticized Riley for maybe standing pat. He picked up 1 major addition, and Terry Porter pays off with 2 crucial free throws. Back after this from your local.
And ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks down 3 with 58.5 seconds left. And look, they're one a 3-point shooting team. They only barely shoot any threes, right? Baskets are hard to come by in these type of games. So you know how nervous I was, and you were too.
And for the New York Knicks, they have a lot of time. What they've got to do is get a score. This play has worked the best for them. Sprewell on his own.
Latrell Sprewell, offensive board, Ewing, and he's fouled. Patrick Ewing will shoot 2 free throws with 39.7
That man,
seconds left.
Patrick Ewing, that man. You had to love Patrick Ewing, man. Just a monster and a warrior.
Elevates just a little bit too long, but that leaves Ewing free for the rebound.
First free throw is good. That was the 5th foul on Alonzo Mourning. Patrick Ewing hitting only 60% of free throws here in the playoffs, but he dropped in the first, and he made the second as well.
Miami unable to take care of their defensive backboard. They give up a jumper in the lane, and then Ewing just outworked everybody else, giving his team 1 more chance.
And Miami's offense is designed to use 24 seconds, so the Knicks are going to have to play some defense, and then they're going to have to be ready to rebound the ball.
Hardaway lost it. Larry Johnson has it for New York. Here's Sprewell. 20 seconds left. Timeout, New York.
Tim cannot believe it.
You can only imagine the pain that Tim Hardaway feels in turning that one over, ladies and gentlemen. That had to last him for his lifetime. I met him one time. He didn't even want to take a picture with me because I was a Knicks fan. But, hey, it's all good.
At the 19.9 second mark, Miami leads New York 77-76. It'll be the Knicks basketball. Here's the offensive production for New York today. Who do you have take the shot if it's the final shot?
I'd have Steve Sprewell. He's the one who they banked the turnaround of this season on. He's the one who poked away the ball defensively that time to give him that chance. Latrell Sprewell can go either way here. He's the kind of guy that can just explode, get his own shot. Don't look for him to pass.
And ladies and gentlemen, my nerves at this point, although I'm not going to lie, I was confident that the Knicks could win. I was confident that the Knicks could win this game. I just knew that they could beat Miami. I never felt like Miami could beat us. But you better believe my heart was pumping and my blood was running fast. Sweating and everything, ladies and gentlemen.
When it looked like they might have had the game won with the final possession. That is sweat from the Iceman.
But Miami has the lead. And they have a terrific defense. And they have the defensive player of the year in Alonzo Mourning.
Charlie Ward will inbound the ball. Mourning is guarding Ewing. Sprewell being defended by Porter. Here's Sprewell. 15 seconds. Ewing.
There's some confusion right here. They got to get the ball in the air.
Sprewell, 6 seconds. Out of bounds. New York will get it, but only 4 seconds to shoot. And 4.5 left in the game.
That was not a good set. The Knicks have to get themselves 2 chances
And
to tie or win the ball game.
That possession was so tense for me. Just that possession right there was so tense. My heart was pumping, my blood was pumping, and I was already late for work, but I was not leaving this game. There was no way I was going to leave it. I felt it in my heart that the Knicks was going to win. At this point, I was a little bit scared and a little bit nervous, but I knew we had to do it. Just that possession was tense. So imagine this next possession. I know you felt it. I felt it. Let's go ahead and get the call, ladies and gentlemen.
4 seconds. Van Gundy calls a play, a triangle. That usually means something for Ewing. Allan Houston.
Houston ducks under. Got it! With 8 tenths left.
And ladies and gentlemen,
Miami will argue shot clock violation here. Allan Houston slices through it, very reminiscent of a regular season game that we had last year. Shot clock not a factor at all, easily before it expired.
Well, the shot clock shouldn't have been on because there's only 19 seconds to go when they had the final possession, looking at how much time is left in the clock. Remember Allan Houston, the last time we were here, and he tipped the ball in, and they took the basket away. This time, Allan Houston is legit. He is the hero on a tough day. He seals the deal with 8/10 of a second left, though. There's still a legitimate shot left for the Miami Heat. Pat Riley, he's drawn like crazy right now. Van Gundy, he might live for another day.
But sweet redemption for Allan Houston. 1 of 7 in a disastrous first half. He's come back in the second half, hit 4 of his 6, and maybe the series winner with 8/10 of a second left. Let's go to Jim Gray.
Well, the officials are convening right now. They're talking it over. There was 5/10 of a difference when they inbounded the ball from the shot clock and the game clock. They originally put up another 1/10 of a second, and then Jim Clark came over and said, I saw it 8/10 of a second, so the clock will remain with that. Tom?
All right, Jim.
Well, you get a look at the clock as the ball is going up. There's 2, the ball dancing around, comes down. That's almost a full second when that ball went through the hoop. So, the Heat, they need to go back and beg for another 3/10. But right now, there's a lot of rejoicing, but still, this game can be taken away from the happy New York Knicks right now with 1 play to the hoop. This is a catch-shoot situation or a catch-and-drop situation for Mourning and the Miami Heat.
and trust me, ladies and gentlemen, I was still nervous. Even to this point, I felt like anything could happen. I was still nervous. I was mad nervous.
Live, or will there be no championship ring for Miami this season?
Alonzo Mourning, the only big man, tough to backdoor him. They'll be focusing on that. Marcus Camby denying Marley on the inbounds pass. Miami still with timeouts.
Delay a game warning on the Knicks.
Now, Deshaun Leonard is telling Jimmy Clark he's holding me, trying to get some sort of help from the officials on any kind of play. They got to get the ball in, and it's got to get up in the air. Porter
Got it away. No good. Just missed.
And even that, ladies and gentlemen, they just missed. But the Knicks knock off an 8th seed, the second team in history. Another Georgetown guy did it, the Kembe Mutombo, and then now Patrick Ewing. And this Georgetown guy's hurt.
You could barely walk, and you were having trouble breathing.
Well, I just had to suck it up. This is, what the playoff is all about. We worked hard to get here. It was a struggle for me all year. I mean, there's been a lot of criticism, but I didn't care about that. I just had to suck it up and just come out and do whatever I could to help the team to win.
Patrick, congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. I want to say hello to my father. Thank you.
Okay, back to you, Tom.
All right, Jim, as one would guess, between these two rivals which play so intensely and who have played almost on even terms over the years, this one came down to the final shot. 78-77 New York wins. So long for Steve Jones, Bill Walton, and Jim Gray. Tom Hammond sending you to Bob Costas in the Kings.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's classic New York Knicks right there. That's just classic New York Knicks. And before I jump up out of here, let's go ahead and we'll hear from the star of the show, who was Allan Houston. We just heard from Patrick Ewing. We'll hear from Allan Houston really, really quick. before I get out of here, but before we end this portion of it, let's go ahead and hear from Allan Houston, and then we can go ahead and talk. It's Allan Houston.
Thank you very much, Ann. I'm here with Allan Houston, the game-winning shot. Allan, how did you guys manage to pull this off with so many guys beaten up and battered?
I don't know. The Lord was with us today. When God's with you, anything can happen. I think we just stuck with it. I think, earlier in this series when we got down, we didn't keep our poise. And I think tonight we kept our poise. We just played smart basketball.
After Game 4, realistically.
Okay, we ended off right there, ladies and gentlemen. Ended off right there. But big shot, one of the biggest shots in New York Knicks history. And many of you guys know the story from here on out. The Knicks go on and they sweep the Atlanta Hawks. And then after they sweep the Atlanta Hawks, they play the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. LJ hits the shot. And we'll probably take a look at that game as well. As we're doing classic Knicks. Patrick Ewing goes down in that game in the series versus Indiana. He was dealing with an Achilles injury throughout the playoffs. He goes down and out where, he finally has to call it quits. The Knicks go on to beat Indiana and they play the San Antonio Spurs in the finals. They lose to the Spurs 4-1, but man, what a run. What a run to the NBA Finals for the New York Knicks. It was great to watch. Then the next season, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals again. They lost to the Indiana Pacers. Then the season after that really kind of marked that slide backwards. They traded Patrick Ewing in September of 2000 and all of that. But we're going to rejoice over this one. Because I jumped up and screamed and hollered and I couldn't. It was just amazing. And I went to work on a high note. I was just on a high note. It didn't matter what happened. They could have fired me. I would not have cared. You know what I'm saying? But let me get to my guys over here. All right, I got Big Freezy in the chat. We got K Sway. We got Ernesto. You know what I'm saying? Fellas, those were some good times right there, man. Some good times.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
that really made me happy, man. Just seeing that again.
Yeah, man. I just can't wait to get back to that. Those were some just amazing times. Allan Houston with the big shot. Allan Houston had 12 points that game, I think. You know what I'm saying? But he hit the big shot. What can you say? I just wish that they would have won a championship with Ewing, man.
Yeah, man.
But you see, they scrapped that whole game, that whole series, like all series, they just scrapped. Like I was telling Freezy that, Knicks didn't have the best talent, but when you was playing the Knicks, you knew you had to come and play ball. You had to play some real gritty basketball, because if not, we was gonna come get you, man. Those were the days, Sim.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. They were gonna come get you, and you knew, and that's the thing. And with this year's team, everybody thought and hoped that it could get back to just scrapping like that. When you came to play the Knicks at the Garden, at your place, no matter what, you knew you were in for a dog fight.
Yep.
That was it. You knew you were in for a dog fight. Let me ask you guys, do you think the Knicks lost to the Spurs in the NBA Finals 4-1? Would it have been different if they had a healthy Patrick Ewing?
No doubt.
You think so, Ernesto?
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, it probably would have been better, I tell you that, because Tim Duncan really killed us, man. They would get into that half-court set, and yeah, he just go to work on us, man. Yeah, Pratt probably would have happened.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say I don't think Pat would have made a difference, because at the time we didn't know how great of a coach Popovich was, and we also didn't know that the Spurs were on the verge of creating a dynasty. You know what I mean? It just happens like that, man. I wish we could have seen it play out, but with our coaching staff being limited with their approach, and a Hall of Fame coach on the other side, I would hope we had a chance, but the Spurs had 2 Hall of Fame centers on the team at one time. You know what I'm saying?
It's tough,
and,
man.
And a Hall of Fame coach. And the thing that bothered me is they were so clutch. It was sickening. It was like you almost thought it was luck. Like, how does Avery Johnson, who don't even shoot three, Avery Johnson is like Alfred Payton, but he kept knocking down that corner three against us when they needed a basket.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
So
they had this was their team back then, the San Antonio Spurs. They had Antonio Daniels. He was a point guard, right? Tim Duncan, Mario Elie. Remember that guy? He was Mario Elie was that dude was clutch. He could hit shots.
Yeah, he hit shots against us.
He could hit shots. He was clutch, man. He was a clutch dude. I think he played for the Houston Rockets too, right? At one point in his career. They had Sean Elliott. Sean Elliott was good. Andrew Gaze, I'm not sure what that is. Jaren Jackson. They had Avery Johnson. They had Steve Kerr, Jerome Kersey, Gerard King, Will Perdue, David Robinson, Malik Rose. You guys remember Malik Rose? And then they had a shooting guard by the name of Brandon Williams. And Jan Jackson. I mean, they had a tough team, man. They had a tough team. Would we have had enough? I don't know. We couldn't listen. Their offensive rating that season was 104. Right, they scored 104 points per game. We were scoring like 98 points per game or something like that. It would have been tough, and they were a good defensive team.
Yeah,
it would have been tough. But it definitely would have made the series closer. I think. I mean, we got one game. Maybe we could have took it to a 7-game series.
With Pat on the floor, we're a half-court team. We was a half-court team when Pat was on the floor. So, they had the remedy to play us, because being that we was playing fast with Marcus Camby on the floor, they would just slow it down and put us in a half-court set.
And pound us to death.
Yeah, so if we would have had Pat, it probably would have gave us a little bit of a chance, to actually go half-court on them and then, use the situation to play small ball at times to, to try to change the style up. Yeah, so, I kind of agree with you, Sim, with, it would have made a difference not to win, but it would have made a little bit of a difference.
And plus, Pat was in his 14th season too, so
that's right.
Pat was a 14. Yeah, he was a 14-year vet. So
yeah, he was in his 14th season. As a matter of fact, not the whole team was. I mean, we had been. Think about it. At that point, we had been through so many battles. This team, Larry Johnson wasn't there. Latrell Sprewell wasn't there. Allan Houston, so it was kind of a new team. Patrick Ewing had been through so many battles. He probably still would have. He might have still tired down in the finals, man. Maybe just his presence, though, being there. Having a big body inside. And still having a guy that can anchor your offense and defense. Would have made a big difference. But Patrick Ewing. He had some fresh guys around him, but he had been through some wars up to this point. All throughout the 90s with the Bulls and some with the Pacers. He had been through a lot of wars up to this point. And it was no wonder when he finally, in 2000, when they traded him, he didn't have no more. Because he gave it all to the Knicks. I don't care what no one said. He gave it all to the Knicks, man. You look at all the wars that he been in, gave it all to the Knicks.
Yeah. And Pat, and one thing about Pat, man, and which is, probably a disservice to him, man, from 89, 90, 91, man, Pat could have been the MVP of the league 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
What I'm saying? You know what I mean? Pat literally carried this team on. I think one year he averaged like 29 and was just like, he had developed this fadeaway. And when he got that fade, man, you could not stop Pat Ewing. You know what I'm saying? He carried the Knicks on his back. But, it's one of those things where in 89, 90, 91, 92, in his prime years, man, we just couldn't get past the Bulls. The Bulls were on the same arc as us.
The Bulls, man. Yeah. The Bulls.
Yeah, Mike was something else, bro.
Yeah, right. I mean, when you look at the Knicks, man, up to this point, this was 1999. So if you start in 89, 90, you can start 88, 89.
Right.
Actually, you can go 87, 88. The Knicks were in the playoffs, and they lost to the Celtics. All right, young squad, young team, lost to the Celtics. All right, 88, 89. They go to the Eastern Conference semifinals, and they lose to, guess who? The Chicago Bulls.
Right.
And then 89, 90, they upset the Boston Celtics 3-2 in the first round.
Yep.
All right, they come back from a 2-0 deficit to win. Then they lose to the Pistons in the semifinals. And now is where they really start these battles with the Bulls. All right, 90, 91, they lose 3-0 to the Chicago Bulls. Okay, 91, 92, they meet the Chicago Bulls in the semifinals. They go to Game 7, and they lose to the Bulls in Game 7.
Yep.
Right, and then in 92, 93, they meet the Bulls again in the Eastern Conference Finals.
That was our year.
Right?
Yeah.
And we lose to the Bulls 4-2 in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yep.
And finally in 93, 94, we beat the Bulls in the Eastern Conference. We beat the Bulls in the semifinals, and we beat the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. All right, so we beat the Nets 3-1. Then we go a 7-game series against the Bulls, a 7-game series against the Pacers, and a 7-game series against the Rockets. That's a war. All right, that's a war. All right, then 94, 95, we lose to the Pacers in 7-game series in the Eastern Conference semifinals. 95, 96, we lose in the semifinals to the Bulls. This time we got kind of wiped away. All right, 96, 97, that's the year that we lost to the Miami Heat. That's the season I really thought we could take the Bulls out. I really thought we could. Right, we lost to the Heat in a 7-game series, but it was because, we were up 3-1, and then the fight broke out between Charlie Ward and P.J. Brown, and it ruined everything.
Right.
It ruined everything. Right. And then you get to 97, 98. We lose to the Pacers in the Eastern Conference semifinals. 98, 99. There you go. We go to the NBA Finals. We just looked at that game with the Miami Heat. And then 1999, 2000, we lose to the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals 4-2.
Yep.
Right, and then in 2000, 2001, that starts our downfall. We lose to the Raptors in the first round 2-3, and it was a while before we make it back to the playoffs. But the Knicks and Patrick Ewing have been through some wars, and when you look at that roster in 01, 02, man, that was actually in 2000. I don't even want to talk about who they traded Patrick Ewing for.
For nothing.
It was Glenn Rice. They got a few draft picks, but it was Glenn Rice, and I was like, I don't want Glenn Rice on my team. So that season, man, we had in 2000, 2001, when we lost to the Raptors in the first round, this was our squad. Rick Brunson, Marcus Camby, Chris Childs, Othello Harrington. He was our center. Allan Houston, Mark Jackson, Larry Johnson, Travis Knight, Luke Longley, LeVar Postel, St. John's kid, Glenn Rice, Felton Spencer. We had Sprewell, Eric Strickland, Kurt Thomas, and Charlie Ward. We had a lot of the same rotation guys, but, Patrick Ewing was the heart and soul.
Right.
Ewing was the heart and soul. What you gonna do, man? And someone is asking who. I think they want to see who was included in the Patrick Ewing trade. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and read it off. Who was in the Patrick Ewing trade when they traded him to Seattle? That I'm gonna tell you, that day hurt my heart big time, man. In the trade, the Knicks. Hold up, let me get it up here for you. Where'd it go?
Somebody get mad when he read this.
What'd you say?
It was like a 4-team trade, right?
Yeah, man. It was a 4-team deal. Right? Where'd it go? So the Knicks sent Patrick Ewing to Seattle and Chris Dudley to Phoenix, and they received Glenn Rice, Luke Longley, Travis Knight, Vladimir Stepania, Lazaro Burrell, Vernon Maxwell. They received 2 first-round draft picks from one from the Los Angeles Lakers and one from Seattle, and 2 second-round draft picks from Seattle.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what they traded him for. Again, that was.
And you know what? And you know, Luke Longley had a torn ACL.
Yeah.
And they included him in the deal.
Yep.
And yeah, he laughed. He laughed because he sat the bench and the Knicks paid him all year.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, that was.
Bad, man.
I remember the whole Travis Knight thing
Patrick
too,
Ewing went to Seattle, and Chris Dudley went to Phoenix, and the Knicks received Glenn Rice, Luke Longley, Travis Knight, Vladimir Stepania, Lazaro Burrell, Vernon Maxwell, 2 first-round draft picks, and 2 second-round draft picks. Yep.
I'm still mad about that.
Yeah, man.
Because we still have, to be honest, that wasn't a bad trade for the Knicks, man, at that time, to be honest with you.
No, but the piece that we got, the key piece, was a redundant piece at shooting guard.
Yeah, but it was about the picks, not really the players.
Okay. I see what you mean.
You know what I'm saying? They were starting to rebuild again at that time, but they didn't do it right.
No, yeah, I mean,
the Knicks always try to rebuild in 2 years. You can't rebuild like that. It takes time.
Right.
But look, back to this game, Sin. I mean, this was the last time that I remember feeling completely ecstatic, completely in ecstasy out of a Knicks win, bro. Too bad it was like over 20 years ago.
Yep.
But I remember exactly where I was. I remember this was an afternoon game. It was either a Saturday or a Sunday because I was working in Miami at a Best Buy. Fortunately, I was working in the video department. So back then, there was no high definition. The big screens were the CRTs, the big tube televisions.
Yeah.
They went up to like 35 inches. And then you had the projection TVs, the rear projection TVs, which were big furniture, basically.
Right.
You know, and the quality wasn't good because there wasn't high definition. Those TVs were meant for high def. But anyways, I was at a Best Buy in Miami. I had the game on all the televisions. By the fourth quarter, all the customers were all around the video department just watching the game. Everything was in complete silence. You can hear a pin drop, like in the last 5 minutes. Everybody was just watching the game. And when Allan Houston made that shot, man, I did a fist bump and I screamed, "Oh fuck yeah!" Sorry, Tony. So loud
in the store.
The entire store. You could hear it everywhere, man. And the manager had to pull me to the side. Hey, calm down. I was just stoked. I was stoked, man. It was one of those moments that in life that you won't forget.
Right.
I remember that, man. I mean, too bad it was 20 years ago, and till this day, the Knicks haven't made me feel that the way they did.
Yeah, man. The game was on a Sunday. I remember.
I was in front of all those Heat fans, and there wasn't one Knicks fan in the store. Obviously, I'm in Miami.
Yeah.
So I'm there, man, by myself, just rooting and rooting. When he hit that shot, it was just, oh.
Yeah, man. I know, man. That was one of the best feelings, just one of the best feelings ever, because it was a Sunday. I remember it was a Sunday, and
it was an afternoon game. I remember
it was an afternoon game.
Yeah.
Yep, and I was late to work. I was supposed to be to work at 3:00, and I was like, I don't care. I am watching this game. It does not matter what. I don't care what my boss says. I was watching this game, and when he knocked down that shot, I started screaming. I was getting dressed. I was hollering. I was yelling. I was going crazy. I was jumping all over the place, man. And it was just an amazing feeling, man. Amazing feeling. And that that shot, for a lot of Knicks fans, just cemented Allan Houston as a Knick legend, no matter what.
And And the thing I remember most, I couldn't celebrate with any other fan. Everybody was a Heat fan. So I'm like, I'm alone in that shit. You know what I'm saying? So but it felt so good. It felt extra sweet, man. Just and customers were pissed because I was celebrating, jumping up and down.
Right.
Yeah, man.
You probably couldn't celebrate with no other Knicks fans, man. I had to call my brother and some, other friends back in New York, but
yeah, man. And a big shout out to Ishmael. He said, great time being a Knicks fan. Thanks for the memories. After the game, did you consider not going to work or staying home to celebrate? No, I went to work. I didn't even consider not going to work. I just went to work, but I was super duper happy. I was just happy about everything because at the time I was working I was working in like a nursing home, an adult care home everybody there was a Knicks fan. All the old people there was a Knicks fan. So I got to talk to them about the game. And they, they watched, some of them watched the game on TV too. So it was great.
Oh, wow. Man, you know what? Good. My wife was pregnant with twins and we were in the hospital during this time. So we were in like the, whatever unit they call it, where all the families go, man, when it's time to deliver your babies. And I kept cheering, and the lady was like, "Hey, you need to calm down, man. We over here trying to concentrate." and so Allan Houston mess around and runs a curl towards the basket and catches the basketball. And I stand up, man, and the nurse was like, "Mr. Freezy, don't you do it. Don't you do it." And so Allan Houston throw the shot up, and it hits off the rim. And I'm like, about to fall down in the chair. And then take another weird bounce and go in. Man, I jump up and start screaming. My wife starts screaming because she's pregnant with twins. Right. You know what I'm saying? Dudes running in the room, like, what's going on? I mean, it was crazy, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, it felt like time literally slowed down when that ball was bouncing.
Right. I thought he missed. Right. Man, oh my gosh. But the ball goes in, man. We start celebrating, man. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. I tell my son once in a while, I almost named his ass Allan Houston.
Yeah, man. Those are great times, man. Those are great times. And I can't wait to see those times again. But those are definitely some great times.
Hey, man, do you think we really could have won it in 96, 97, the 96, 97 year?
Bro, I feel like that season, I felt like we could beat the Bulls that year.
Man,
I really felt like
watching, all season long. All the Knicks fans had a feeling like the NBA, the commissioner's office, was not going to allow us to win a championship because of our style of play. You know what I'm saying? Like every team we played got all the calls. So we were playing. The same thing happened in the 92, 93 year, where every team we played got all the calls, man. If you ran by Jordan, he was getting all the calls, man.
Man, don't even bring up the Bulls, man. I don't want to. I'm in a different state of mind right now after this game. I don't want to think about that time.
Right, just stick with this one, right? Just stick with feeling good. Nah, I really did feel like we could beat them.
Just keep that feeling rolling, bro. Because that was the end of us being relevant, basically. You know what I'm saying? After a couple of years after that, that's it.
That's it. We fell off. Yeah, man. Yeah, but that 96, 97, I really did. I think we beat the Bulls twice that year. They blew us out twice, and we blew them out twice, I think. And I really felt like, that was a team that could do it. But anyway,
I
man.
Felt like, okay.
Especially with the Jordan special now coming to ESPN.
On Sunday.
There'll be enough of that. You know what I'm
Don't
saying?
even want to, right? Don't even want to see it. I know. I don't have any Jordan brand clothes in my house. No, actually, my daughter might, but I don't own any Jordan sneakers, no Jordan Brown sweatpants, no hoodies, t-shirts, socks, nothing. Because I can't do it. I can't do it.
Oh man, I'm guilty, man. I'm guilty. I got the sevens. I just got one pair though. One pair. I love those.
Oh man.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
man.
I just can't do it, man. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Jordan, you know, and he's the greatest player to ever grace the game, in my opinion. You know what I mean? It's just, it was such a heated rival, and he broke my heart so many times. I can't stand to support him. I don't want to put any money in his pocket.
Right. Yeah.
He broke my heart too many times.
Because he took too much of mine. I'm gambling on the game.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
You know,
the battle between him and Starks, man, was iconic, man. Starks never gave up. Never gave up. I love Starks, man. He was a dog.
Yeah, man.
Starks was 6'2" of all heart. You know what I'm saying? Like I was telling Mark the other day that Starks was a borderline NBA player with top-notch, like A1 heart. You know what I'm saying? You don't find cats like that just will themselves in a position to make a play like Starks did.
Right.
You know, they they like to, talk greasy about Starks because of that Game 7 or whatever. And I ain't gonna get into all that stuff, but because you can't you can't watch YouTube and understand the impact that Anthony Mason and John Starks had. You know what I'm saying, on those teams, man. But
yeah, man.
But yeah, man. So he did the very best he could. You just wish that the people that you hang around could get all the potential out of their life like Starks did for his NBA career.
Right.
Yeah, wasn't he like a G League player? Well, I mean, it's a G League player now, but
CBA.
Yeah, he was a CBA player. Yep. Yeah. Continental Basketball Association. Yeah, it was CBA.
The Knicks had a bunch of glue guys with Patrick Ewing. Jordan played with look. Scottie Pippen was a top 10 player in the league. The problem is he played with Jordan, but he was a superstar.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
no. Pippen with Ewing, you don't think we'd be Jordan in one of those years? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And people also forget that those Jordan teams had a bunch of players from that won championships on other teams like John Sally and Robert Parrish and Steve Kerr. You know what I'm saying? They had players on that. It wasn't like Jordan was playing by himself. Whoever the GM was surrounded Jordan with so much talent that it's almost embarrassing when you look at teams that they played against, like the Knicks. Like they literally had Robert Parrish winning 3 championships with the Celtics as a backup center, and our backup center might have been Herb Williams.
Look, remember Tony Kukoc?
Yeah, man.
Remember Tony Kukoc?
Yeah.
If you put him on another team, he's probably the number 1 or number 2 guy on a different team.
Oh, yeah. Tony Kukoc, yeah, man.
He was a role player.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Tony Kukoc, like that guy can ball. Like that kid, he was good, man.
And the thing is, the Bulls had all these players. Even when they didn't have Tony Kukoc and it was Jordan Pippen and Bill Cartwright and them, the Knicks, Patrick Ewing and the Knicks still took them to the wire. There was one season where the only team to take them to 7 games was the Knicks.
Right.
They still took them to the wire, man. Great times, man. Great times. I'm glad to watch this game because it brought back so many great feelings. I think the next one I'm gonna do is the same playoffs. When LJ knocked in that shot at the Garden, I think I'm gonna do that next. That's gonna be the next game that we review.
I woke some babies up when he hit that shot.
What'd you say?
But I
woke some babies up when he hit that shot.
Oh yeah.
I actually had the cops called on me when he hit that shot.
And back in those days, the top Western team had the safest path to the finals.
Right.
It was always a dogfight, all through the playoffs. You had dogfights in the first round.
Exactly. And by the time that Eastern Conference team got to the finals, they were like, are they gonna be strong enough? Are they gonna have enough energy to survive?
And
you know what I'm saying?
Still won.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because they were so deep. Yeah.
They were too deep, man.
Yeah. But hey, guys, it was a great time, man. I'm gonna head up out of here. The next time I do Classic Knicks is gonna be the Knicks versus the Indiana Pacers when LJ hit that shot. So that's gonna be the next one.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be the next one. All right. But I'm out of here, guys.
How about the Reggie Miller game? You're not gonna show that one?
No. I don't want to see us
Been depressed
lose.
for a decade, man. Nah,
I
you
see
don't want
enough of us losing now. I want to see some wins.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But
Bring
hey,
the
guys, I
morale
appreciate
back
you
up.
guys for
All right,
taking the
brother.
time out, man.
All right, man. Peace.
All right.
Everyone.
Have
Thanks
a
a
good
lot,
one.
man.
No problem.
Everybody stay
No
safe.
problem.
Stay safe, Sim.
Later, Sway.
right.
Later, Easy.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for staying up with me and watching the game. All right, that was a good one. That was a fun one. And we are going to check out the Knicks versus the Pacers when LJ gave us the shot, baby. We're going to check out that one next. All right, so look for that notification. All right, look for that notification. And then we'll see what other ones come after that, because after that, it's not a whole lot left. We'll pull some stuff out. I'll take your suggestions. You can leave your suggestions in the comment section of some other games that we can watch, because we're going to do this all summer long, man. We're going to do it all summer long. Now, the more recent the games are, the NBA might start flagging it, so we'll have to figure out some creative ways to get around it. All right, but these classic games like this, we can watch them. You see, it's all good. But anyway, I had a good time. Appreciate you guys for being here. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Hit those like buttons, ladies and gentlemen. Get more people in here enjoying the game. All right. I appreciate you guys. Be safe. Make sure it's kind of late. Make sure you get up and ready for work tomorrow. All right. Be peaceful, ladies and gentlemen. I'll talk to you tomorrow night. Got another draft prospect show tomorrow night. Peace.